Since 1998, Who Wants to Be a Millionaire has become one of the most influential television formats in history. Adapted in more than 100 countries and watched by millions, it transformed everyday people into millionaires in front of a global audience. In 1999, an American contestant, John Carpenter, became the first person ever to win the top prize. In the United Kingdom, Judith Keppel followed in 2000, claiming £1 million. And in 2001, thanks to a rolling jackpot, Kevin Olmsted broke records by winning more than $2 million. But wherever there are prizes of this scale, there are also people willing to test the boundaries of the rules. And sometimes those boundaries turn out to be much easier to bend than anyone ever expected. This documentary examines two infamous stories in detail, and a surprising bonus, to reveal just how vulnerable even the most carefully constructed systems can be. Meet Charles Ingram. When he first appeared on the British version of Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, he seemed to struggle from the very beginning. He burned through almost all of his lifelines before even reaching the seventh question. And yet, against all expectations, he continued advancing until he finally faced, and correctly answered, the £1 million question. Producers were suspicious from the moment he celebrated. Behind the scenes, executives, engineers, and analysts reviewed the footage again and again. They couldn't initially find anything conclusive, but something felt undeniably wrong. Then they noticed it. Just before Charles selected the correct answer to many of the questions, a cough sounded from somewhere in the audience.
I would have thought that it would be Aristotle Onassis.
What?
One cough could be coincidence. Two might still be accidental, but the pattern continued. Over and over, just moments before the right answer, the cough returned.
I think if I had to guess, and I can.
You can
Take cricket.
It wasn't long before attention turned to two people close to Charles. His wife, Diana Ingram, and a family friend, Tequin Whittock. Diana was no stranger to quiz shows. She had appeared on Millionaire 4 separate times. She and her family knew the audition process better than most. They understood more than the average viewer how the system worked. The theory was simple. Charles would hover between two potential answers, and a cough at just the right time would guide him toward the correct one. To prove this, the producers brought in a specialist in computational and biological timing. His analysis showed that the chances of the cough pattern occurring naturally were astronomically small. It was a signal, deliberate, consistent, and perfectly timed. Eventually, Charles, Diana, and Tequin were convicted. They did not receive prison sentences, but they were fined a total of £115,000 and sentenced to 18 months of community service. Yet the story didn't end there. While the legal system gave them relatively light penalties, the public did not. Their home was vandalized, and even their pets were targeted. Whether or not they ever admitted guilt, the consequences of the scandal followed them long after the camera stopped rolling. The next case reveals a very different kind of manipulation. One that begins long before the contestant even sits in the hot seat. Paddy Spooner appeared on multiple quiz shows and walked away with enormous winnings. £250,000 on one appearance, another £250,000 on a second, plus smaller amounts on additional shows. His behavior stood out immediately. Paddy answered questions almost instantly, barely pausing to think. He radiated a calm confidence that seemed almost unnatural. His secret wasn't signals or coughing. Paddy used forged identities and took exams on behalf of other people for money. He was smart, very smart, and he used that intelligence to exploit audition systems. By manipulating who he was on paper, and by understanding the backstage mechanics of contestant selection, he increased his chances of being chosen for the show and, at times, of being presented with questions and categories he was more likely to excel in. Unlike the Ingrams, Paddy never faced serious consequences. He kept his prize money and no significant punishment was ever imposed. His story illustrates a troubling reality. Sometimes simply knowing the right people and understanding the right loopholes can be more effective than cheating during the game itself. Before we finish, there's one more extraordinary story. A tale not of stolen signals or identity tricks, but of pure observation and relentless dedication. Michael Larson was a truck driver from Ohio who became obsessed with the 1980s game show press your luck. On that show, a board of prizes and penalties flashed rapidly, and contestants had to stop the board at exactly the right moment to win big. To most people, the board seemed random, but Larson believed there was a pattern. At home, he set up multiple televisions and recorded countless hours of the show. Then he played the footage back, frame by frame. He was right, the board wasn't random at all. It followed a hidden sequence, and two specific squares, the 4th and the 8th, repeatedly landed on high-value prizes. If he timed his button presses perfectly, he could avoid penalties entirely. When he appeared on the show, he executed his plan flawlessly. He pressed the buzzer with uncanny perfection 40 times in a row, and won more than $100,000, at the time the largest amount ever won on a daytime game show. Producers were stunned. They sued, but Larson explained everything openly in court. He hadn't broken a rule, he had simply studied the system better than anyone else. He kept every dollar, but his life later took a darker turn. He became involved in Ponzi schemes that defrauded countless victims. Studying patterns had once made him rich. Later, it would cost him everything. These stories, the coughing signals of the Ingrams, the backstage manipulations of Paddy Spooner, and the algorithmic precision of Michael Larson, reveal one truth. Every system can be exploited. Some methods rely on human signals. Others exploit weaknesses in selection processes. And sometimes the cracks lie in the very mechanics of a game itself. Game shows are built on trust. Viewers trust that contestants play fair. Producers trust that players come ready to compete honestly. When that trust is broken, the damage extends far beyond the results of a single episode. Yet these stories also remind us why we watch. Because even in the moments when people try to bend the rules, the extraordinary creativity or audacity of the human mind is on full display. And in the end, the greatest prize any show can offer isn't money. It's the thrill of a fair game, honestly played, and the shared belief that anyone, anywhere, can rise from an ordinary life and win something extraordinary. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed the story, don't forget to leave a like, subscribe, and share your thoughts below. What should we explore next? Until then, take care and keep questioning the world around you. We've reached the end of another video, friends. If you like this video, don't forget to like it. We'll learn a lot from the videos I share. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel so you don't miss my new videos. See you in the next video.